if the goal of this spiritual search is to discover for ourselves our true essential, let's call it beingness, whatever that may be. Um, if that's the goal of this movement, this search, um, seems like there's two possibilities. One is that we're already that, and our job is really to discover it for ourselves. Or the other possibility is that we're not it, and we have to find it somewhere outside of ourselves. Those are the two possibilities, right? But if we are it already, what would we have to do to find it? I mean, where would we look? Where would we begin to look? It would seem like any place we searched, any direction that we looked, would take us further away from ourselves. If we're already standing in the middle of the circle, any direction, north, south, east, west, any direction that we decided to walk would take us further away from what we already are. So in that sense, seeking to find what we already are, um, I mean, how would you even begin to do that? I mean, what would that even look like? So it seems like if the if what we are is already what we are, the best thing to do would just be to stop, stop searching outward from ourselves and just stop long enough to see what's already here when we're not trying to make something else happen. Right? Does that make sense? Just sort of take our foot off the gas and see what's already present. So the other possibility is to deny what's already present. Say, well, it can't possibly be here, not like this, not with, my, checkered past and my faults and my quirks and my inconsistencies and my doubts and all of that. That can't be it. It's got to be something other than what I am, right? So that we start off in that direction, denying the possibility of it being here in search of it somewhere other than where we are. So we look, I mean, there's lots of places to look, right? There's, we can look in mental activities, philosophies. We can look towards experiences, having a peak experience, having a spiritual experience, having, an exciting, adventurous experience, having an intimate experience. I mean, there's lots of possibilities, places to look for the ultimately fulfilling experience, right? But we can also look to our feelings. If I feel good, that must be an indication that I'm getting closer, right? I should feel just better and better. And then one day I'll feel really, really good. And I'll be blissed out the rest of my life. So this is looking at denying the possibility of its presence here in favor of hoping to find it somewhere else. Right? So over the ages, we've been told from many traditions to look within, right? In different ways. Look within, you are what you seek. Um, the kingdom of heaven is within, um, etc. So we can, I mean, just those few statements right there are coming from um, Christianity, Sufism, Buddhism, be a lamp unto yourself, right? All of these are saying essentially the same thing. Look within, right? And we look within and conclude that no, that can't be it. I know they're saying that, but they probably don't really mean it. They really mean look within to see how you're lacking, and then you'll go out and search for it. Some rationale like that. But if we're looking in some place where um, awakeness can't be found, how long will we need to look? I mean, a long time, right? There's, I know I've told this story before, but it's appropriate to exactly what we're talking about here. So in Persian mythology, there's a sort of a fool, wise man um, uh, by the name of Mullah Nasruddin. And the story is that, one day Nasruddin lost his keys and he's down on a sidewalk under a street lamp looking for his keys because he knew that he lost them. And a friend of his comes along and says, what are you doing? And Nasruddin says, I'm looking for my keys. And so this friend gets down on his hands and knees and they're both, sort of searching for the keys under the streetlight. And about 10, 15 minutes go by, and his friend said, well, where'd you actually drop these keys? And Nasruddin said, well, I actually dropped them in the alley over there, but it was dark there, and the light's much better here. So I'm going to look here. So this is a foolish story about looking in a direction that isn't fruitful, right? Looking where something can't be found. So in this case, if what we are looking for is what we essentially are, um, if we deny its presence here and look for it somewhere outside of ourselves, um, it's like, you know, being on our hands and knees underneath the streetlight, we will never find the keys. So the sense of looking within, um, if we decide, oh, okay, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try. I've heard meditation works, so I'll sit down and try to meditate and look within. And one of the first things that I'm sure you've all had the experience of discovering is that when we first look within, there's not generally peace and quiet. It's generally much noisier than we thought that it would ever be. Just the volume, the intensity, the continuity of the thought stream is a bit shocking, to see that level of cacophony that and to discover that we're not actually in control of that at all. But one of the things that we can observe fruitfully by it, rather than trying to change the content of the thought, which is what most of us try to do, either change the content or just make it quiet, quiet down. So the problem with that is the more we try to make it quiet down, the more energy we, of course, give it and louder that it gets, the less control that we see that we actually have. But what we can see from it is that even while that thought is happening, there's something else. There's something that is noticing the thought.